Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to this week's Midweek 180. As regular viewers might tell, I'm not at home this week. I'm actually working away in the Cotswolds. I'm actually doing a bit of my old job. I'm training this week for the first time in a very long time. My training work, really, I'm not focusing on it very much at all at the moment, and I don't do very much of it. I'm pretty much full-time YouTube. But I've had this week for one of my clients in the books for a long time, and it's great actually getting back into the classroom, doing some teaching, and at the same time staying with good friends of mine here in the Cotswolds. But if you've not seen one of these before, this is my midweek update where I bring you my news, views and information about upcoming reviews, all filmed in one take. I'm going to put 180 seconds in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, and that's it. A very simple format. So without further ado, let's get cracking with this week's Midweek 180. I shall start my timer and put my glasses on. Okay, last week's leader of the pack was Francois G. Congratulations, sir. Joined in the Magnificent Seven by Mark, Rod Matheson, Automotivania, Leanne Jackson, Paul Mead, and Michael Kember. So whoever was the first comment this week, you'll be my leader of the pack next week, and the first 7 comments will be in my Magnificent Seven. Where are you and what you're doing? Well, that was Lincoln Howe, who was in Hong Kong. Now, I have been to Hong Kong. It was a good number of years ago now, and I absolutely loved it. I did the normal thing. I had, 3 suits made in 24 hours. A beautiful place. I hope you're doing well. I think it's probably changed quite a lot since I was last there, but a very, very cool place. But wherever you are right now and whatever you're doing, put it in the comments below, and I'll give you a shout out next week. Last week's question was a bit tongue-in-cheek about HS2 being cancelled. It turned out that's exactly what happened, literally the next day. And I asked how many potholes could be filled in by the money that was saved by cancelling the northern leg of HS2. A lot, I think. This week's question, I'm just intrigued to know, how many points do you have on your licence if you're in the UK? If you're outside of the UK, I would love to know what the penalty points for things like speeding and driving infringements rules are in the countries that you live in. For us, if we get done for speeding, we can get 3 or 6 points or even a ban. If we total up to 12 points, we lose our licence for a period of time, and there's some fines chucked in there as well. I currently have 3 points if I'm a very good boy, and if I can last till maybe the beginning of December, I might even get a clean licence. Fingers crossed, trying not to tempt any fates there. Formula 1 out of the weekend from Qatar. Well, all I can say is just mega. The sprint, the qualifying and the sprint race was fantastic. Incredible performance by Oscar Piastri and McLaren in general, to be fair. And then the race was mega. And do you know why? Because they had this problem with the curbs. So Pirelli brought in a rule that said that basically had to have 3 stops. No set of tyres could run for more than 18 laps. And that just gave us a brilliant race. Everyone was on it, pretty much qualifying pace every lap. And I think they should do that every week because it was mega. Brilliant race, very good performance by McLaren. I'm super happy with them. Obviously, Lewis hitting George Russell wasn't great. But the biggest and most impressive thing for me was the fastest pit stop in the history of F1 by the McLaren team, 1.8 seconds. That is ridiculous time for a change of 4 wheels. New car news. Now, just this. I was in Germany last week, and there was one of these in the airport. This is the picture I took, actually. This is the new BMW i5 M60, the all-electric 5 Series. I think it's a very cool looking car. I'm actually going to the UK press drives in just a couple of weeks' time, so I will be bringing a review to the channel very, very soon. But I just really like the look of that car. I'd not seen it before until I saw it in the flesh at the airport. And then this week, I want to talk a little bit about my timing issues. Drive Talk podcast. I haven't mentioned it for a while. This week's episode, which goes live on Friday at 12 o'clock midday UK time, is our main podcast that we filmed when we were out in the Nürburgring at Apex with Misha. It's a long one, but it's a really, really interesting one. It goes right into the crux of things with Misha and really gets to understand him, and it's a really special podcast. We're very proud of it, and we've been really excited about putting it out. The plan was for it to go live yonks ago, but then when Joe and Misha had the accident in the car, we decided we'd put that podcast out first. So please tune into the podcast on Friday at 12. We're doing gangbusters. We're well over 5,000 subscribers on YouTube now for the YouTube side of the podcast. And then the audio side, Apple is our biggest platform. By over 50% of our audio views come from Apple. And we're doing really good numbers on Apple and Google and Spotify. So the podcast is doing really well. If you haven't watched it already, I will put a link above, and I'll put a link in the description below. Please head over, just search Drive Talk Podcast, talk spelled TORQUE, either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and you will find us. And then I know I'm over time, but I go over time most weeks this week, to be honest. This Friday at 6 on the main channel, my video is basically living with the Audi RSQ8. I had the car last week. I did a lot of miles in the car. I did lots of cool things, including getting big stuff in the back and going to cool events and going to a race and coming here to the Cotswolds with Tracy and the pups. And it was a very, very impressive car. So please join in on Friday at 6 for that one. And also, if you haven't watched my Enduro car video where I've raced with the guys from V-Box Motorsports, Race Logic on, I released the video on Monday. It's a typical motor racing video. It's not doing great numbers, but it's a really interesting video. And honestly, it's worth a watch. For me, the fascinating thing was I worked with the guys from V-Box. Every time I came in testing, from driving an unfamiliar car, we went through the data just like a top-level motorsport driver would do in Formula One or Le Mans cars or endurance cars or whatever, and we analysed the data. And the analysing of the data made me a faster driver. It took 8 seconds off my lap time in testing and got me on par with my teammates. And it was just an amazing, amazing experience. So please, even if motorsport's not your thing, head over and watch that video. Again, I'll put a link above. But that's it, really. That's it. I'm a busy guy this week. Some really exciting things happening next week. Very cool podcast being recorded next Monday. Me, Joe, and Pat are actually at the Porsche Experience Centre in Silverstone, and we're recording a podcast behind the scenes at Porsche Silverstone, which is going to be really, really cool. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and I might even make a video for my channel. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film. You take care, guys. Drive safe.